a sense of value in life that's getting sort of crazier and hectic, and obviously there's a lot of barriers that are sort of melting around us. But do you think we're losing a sense of really important values in our life? And if so, how do we get them back?
Well, I don't actually think we are losing it. I think we're in an evolutionary time, and I spend a lot of time working with the naughty girls in boarding schools and boys in detention centres, and I've just come back from Longreach and working with some kids out there, and the old art of storytelling, of sitting and telling your story, and this is what, getting back to what you sort of said, what can parents do? Show your children who you are. My sons, when I got clean and sober, I separated from their dad, and they went through a really rough time, and it wasn't until they were going through adolescence and I noticed I was losing them, and I didn't know how to talk to them. And I remember saying to my therapist at the time, and my first book was just a manuscript, and I said, they're rolling their eyes, they're disconnecting, what do I do? And he said, well, you probably haven't got much credibility as a mother. And I said, you need to let them know who you are. And I was really insulted.
Yes,
I said, I'm paying you money to insult me here. He said, no, look, your boys are now getting to a stage where they want to know what females are, and your library's been closed. Show them who you are. Give your boys that manuscript and show them who you are. And I remember thinking, God, I don't know if I can emotionally undress in front of my sons. But my books were very much about my story. And in doing that, I remember being terrified after my boys read them, thinking they're going to realise that when mothers were given out, they got a short straw. And I was really awkward. And I remember with my oldest boy, and he doesn't even remember this as being a big deal, but it was one of the most intimate, beautiful moments of my life. I was a single mum, and I'd given him this book out of homework because my therapist told me I should. And he came down the stairs and I was hanging out in the washing, and I could tell he'd read it, and my heart was rumbling with thunder and fear. And he said, Mum, I've got to talk to you about this book. And I was just terrified. And I tried to put him off and flick him up to go upstairs with his brother. Anyway, long story short, he sort of said to me, and he was a bit crackly in the throat, and I could tell he was upset. And he said, Mum, I just got to tell you. And he just paused and looked at me. He said, I really like you.
Oh, wow.
And at that moment,
wow.
To have my adolescent boy, I knew he loved me. I didn't think he liked me much. And with our kids, how are they going to like someone they don't know? And I showed them all my vulnerability and my awkwardness, because that's what my first book was all about. And from that point onwards, I got credibility. And they talk to me about females now. And I'm no expert, but I can certainly walk them through the female library. And, and that's the thing we need to do more than ever. And when people say, what do you do? I'm a storyteller. That's what I do. I write, I love words, I love stories. And when you sit with youth, whether they're in a detention centre or an elite boarding school, and I sit and don't tell them what they should or shouldn't be doing, or how they shouldn't be speaking or standing or wearing skirts, but tell them my story, as a recovering drug addict alcoholic who's made a lot of mistakes and been able to get to the other side, I get credibility. And then they then start to emotionally undress and talk about their awkwardness, and then there's connection.